comma, or finances offshore gaming operations in the Philippines shall be considered a quotation mark covered person quotation mark semicolon and B, any transactions entered into with covered persons using any local or foreign agent's currency, comma, regardless of the amount, comma, for purposes of offshore gaming operations shall be considered a quotation mark suspicious transaction, quotation mark. I so move, Mr. President.
Is there an objection? There being none, the motion is approved.
On page 4, line 26, after the word any, delete the word mean and replace it with the word means. I so move, Mr. President.
Is there an objection? There being none, the motion is approved.
On page 5, line 5, after the acronym CHET, comma, insert the clause, and shall consult with the affected Special Economic Zone Authority, comma, Tourism Infrastructure and Enterprise Zone Authority, comma, Port Authority, comma, Investment Promotion Agency, comma. I so move, Mr. President.
Is there an objection? There being none, the motion is approved.
On page 5, line 7, after the word workers, period, insert new section 11, which shall read as follows. Section 11, oversight and review, period, dash. To oversee the effective implementation of this act, comma, there shall be created an administrative oversight committee, open parenthesis, AOC, close parenthesis, to be composed of the following. A, Secretary of the Department of Information and Communications Technology, open parenthesis, DICT, close parenthesis, as chairperson, semicolon. B, Secretary of the Department of Justice, open parenthesis, DOJ, close parenthesis, semicolon. And C, Secretary of the Department of Interior and Local Government, open parenthesis, DILG, close parenthesis, period. The committee shall conduct regular audits of PAGCOR, comma, Special Economic Zone Authority, comma, Tourism Infrastructure and Enterprise Zone Authority, comma, Freeport Authority, comma, Investment Promotion Agency, comma, and other relevant government agencies to check, comma, among others, comma, if only outbound data are being transmitted by the respective internet service providers, period, and period. The committee shall also be mandated to submit annual audit report to Congress, period. So move, Mr. President.
Is there an objection? There being none, the motion is approved.
On page 6, line 3, after the word shall, insert the word be. So move, Mr. President.
Is there an objection? There being none, the motion is approved.
On page 6, line 3, after the word summarily, delete the word be. So move, Mr. President.
Is there an objection? There being none, the motion is approved.
Page 6, line 3, delete the word his and replace it with the word the. So move, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? There being none, the motion is approved.
On page 6, line 11, after the word shall, insert the word be. So move it.
Is there an objection? There being none, the motion is approved.
On page 6, line 11, after word, page 6, line 12, after the word all, delete the word his and replace with the word the. So move, Mr. President.
Is there an objection? There being none, the motion is approved.
On page 6, line 12, after the word benefits, insert the phrase of such government employee or public official. So move, Mr. President.
Is there an objection? There being none, the motion is approved.
On page 6, line 18, before the word gaming, insert the acronym POGO. So move, Mr. President.
Is there an objection? There being none, the motion is approved.
On page 6, line 19, before the word gaming, insert the acronym POGO. So move, Mr. President.
Is there an objection? There being none, the motion is approved.
Page 6, line 12, after the word the. In page 6, line 22, after the word the, insert the acronym POGO. So move, Mr. President.
Is there an objection? There being none, the motion is approved.
On page 6, line 22, after the word end, insert the acronym POGO. So move, Mr.
Is there an objection? There being none, the motion is approved.
On page 6, line 27, before the word zone, insert the words infrastructure and enterprise. So move, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? There being none, the motion is approved.
On page 7, line 3, after the word act, insert the words is concerned. So move, Mr. President.
Is there an objection? There being none, the motion is approved.
On page 7, line 6, after the word act, insert the words is concerned. So move, Mr. President.
Is there an objection? There being none, the motion is approved.
On page 7, line 13, after the word this, capitalize the first letter of the word act. So move, Mr. President.
Is there an objection? There being none, the motion is approved.
On page 7, line 18, after the word effect, delete the phrase on January 1, 2025 and replace with 15 days after. So move, Mr. President.
Is there an objection? There being none, the motion is approved.
And lastly, Mr. President, on page 7, line 14, after the word circulation, insert the proviso, provided, that the online posting in the website of Official Gazette shall be considered as sufficient publication under this section. So moved, Mr. President.
Is there an objection? There being none, the motion is approved.
Thank you, Mr. President, for your patience, and thank you to the body. Maraming salamat.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. The good sponsor made a commitment that we'll have the clean copy tomorrow, Mr. President, to finish the period of amendments. And so with that, I move that we suspend consideration of Senate Bill number 2868 under Committee Report number 342. I so move, Mr. President.
Is there an objection? There being none, motion is approved.
Thank you, Mr. President. May I ask for a minute suspension?
Session is suspended.
I move that we transfer from the calendar for ordinary business to the calendar for special orders. Committee Report number 532 on House Bill number 11189. And this is the bill on the Barangay Ayala Alabang in Muntinlupa. So move, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is approved.
Mr. President, I move to consider House Bill number 11189 and ask the Secretary to read the title of the measure. So move, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved. The Secretary is directed to read the title of the bill.
An acronym ng Barangay New Alabang Village in the city of Muntinlupa as Barangay Ayala Alabang.
Mr. President, to sponsor the measure, I move that we recognize the distinguished gentleman from San Juan, Senator Joseph Victor G. Ejercito, the chairperson of the Senate Committee on Local Government, to deliver the sponsorship speech. So move, Mr. President.
We recognize Senator J.B. Ejercito.
Thank you, Mr. President, dear colleagues. Good evening. I stand before you to sponsor House Bill number 11189 under Committee Report number 532, an act with a straightforward yet significant purpose for a community in Muntinlupa City. This bill proposes a simple but meaningful change, the renaming of Barangay New Alabang Village to Barangay Ayala Alabang. This measure, already passed by our counterparts in the House of Representatives, seeks to formally adopt the name that is already widely recognized and used by the residents and the general public, reflecting the area's distinct identity. Mr. President, the names we give to our communities are not mere labels. They are an embodiment of their history, their character, and the collective identity of the residents. Ang pangalan ay sumasalamin sa pagkakakilanlan ng isang komunidad at pamayanan. Hindi po ito simpleng pagpapalit lamang ng pangalan. Ito ay pagpapakilala sa kung ano ang kinagisnan at kinakikilala ng mga tao. It is in this spirit that we consider the proposal to rename Barangay New Alabang Village to Barangay Ayala Alabang. The renaming of this community is stipulated in Section 2 of this bill will be subject to the democratic will of the qualified voters of the barangay through a plebiscite to be conducted and supervised the Commission on Elections. This ensures that the final decision rests with the very people who call this community home. Nasa kamay po ng mamamayan ng barangay nito ang huling pasya at nararapat lamang na sila ang magdesisyon sa pangalang magiging tatak ng kanilang tahanan. Kung kaya tinihiling ko po ang inyong buong suporta para sa panukalang batas na ito, sama-sama nating itaguyod ang nais ng ating mga kababayan. Sa ating pagkakaisa, maipapakita natin na ang kanilang tinig ay malaga at pinakikinggan dito sa Senado. Maraming salamat po.
Mr. President, I move that we suspend consideration of House Bill number 11189. So move, Mr.
Is
President.
there any objection? The consideration of aforementioned bill hereby suspended.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. This juncture, I move that we transfer from the calendar for ordinary business to the calendar for special orders, Committee Report number 519 on House Bill number 4839. This is the bill declaring a special non-working holiday in Lapu-Lapu City, Cebu. So move, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is approved.
Mr. President, I move to consider House Bill number 4839 and ask the Secretary General to read the title of the measure. So move, Mr.
Is
President.
there any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved. The secretary is directed to read the title of the bill.
An act declaring June 17 of every year a special non-working holiday in the city of Lapu-Lapu, province of Cebu, in commemoration of its charter anniversary.
To sponsor the measure, Mr. President, I move that we recognize Senator Joseph Victor Ejercito, Chairperson of the Senate Committee on Local Government, to deliver his sponsorship speech. So
There-
move, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, Senator Xavier Cito is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Majority Leader, dear colleagues, good afternoon. I rise today on the floor of the Senate to sponsor and champion
Sponsor lang.
House Bill 4839 under Committee Report number 519, which seeks to declare the 17th of June a special non-working holiday in the city of Lapu-Lapu, in the province of Cebu, in commemoration of their charter anniversary. Ang pagunita sa araw ng pagkakatatag sa isang lungsod ay pagbibigay pugay sa kanyang kasaysayan,
Legislative.
sa kanyang mga tagumpay at sa mga mamamayang walang sawang nagsusumikap para sa kanyang kaunlaran. Ang syudad ng Lapu-Lapu na pinangalan sa kauna-unahang bayani ng ating lahi na hindi nagpatinag sa mga banyagang mananakop ay isang matingkad na sagisag ng diwa ng kabayanihan na patuloy nag-aalab at nagbibigay inspirasyon sa ating lahat. This bill therefore is not merely about declaring a holiday. It's about fostering a sense of belonging and continuity. It is about ensuring that the legacy of Lapu-Lapu City is cherished and celebrated with the dignity it rightfully deserves. Para sa ating mga kabayan sa Lapu-Lapu, ang ating mga binamahal na upunganon, inihiling ko po ang inyong buong suporta para sa panukalang batas na ito. Sama-sama po nating ipamalas ang malalim na pagpapalaga sa mayamang kasaysayan at sa patuloy na pagsulong ng lungsod na Lapu-Lapu. Isang mahalagang haligi ng lalawigan ng Cebu at ng bansang Pilipinas. Maraming salamat po.
Majority Leader.
Mr. President, to allow our colleagues to study further the measure, I move that we suspend consideration of House Bill number 4839. So move, Mr.
Is
President.
there any objection? Hearing none, the consideration of the aforementioned bill is hereby suspended.
Mr. President, move for a minute suspension so that you can sponsor your measures,
Yes, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you. I move that we transfer from the calendar for ordinary business to the current calendar for special orders House Bill numbers 11299, 11300, 11301, and 11302. These are bills on the recognition of schools as an educational institutions for international character. I so move, Mr. President.
Is there an objection? There being none, so transferred.
Mr. President, I move that we consider the aforementioned House bills and ask the Secretary General to read the titles of the measures. So move, Mr. President.
Is there an objection? There being none, the motion is approved. The secretary is directed to read only the title of the bills without prejudice, insert in the records the whole text thereof.
House number 11299 recognizes Singapore School Cebu as an educational institution. 11300, Singapore School Clark as an educational institution. 11301, Singapore School Manila as an educational institution. 11302, Singapore School Manila Green Campus as an educational institution.
Mr. President, to sponsor the measure, I move that we recognize the chairperson of the Senate Committee on Basic Education, Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, to deliver an omnibus sponsorship speech. So move, Mr. President.
Is there objection? There being none, the sponsor, Senator Wingacha, is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, honorable colleagues in the Senate, a pleasant night to you all. I rise today to sponsor 4 measures that seek to recognize 4 schools in the Philippines as educational institutions of international character. These are Singapore's School Cebu under House Bill number 11299, Singapore School Clark under House Bill number 11300, Singapore School Manila under House Bill number 11301, and Singapore School Manila Green Campus under House Bill number 11302. These schools seek legislative recognition as educational institution of international character in accordance with Section 47 of Department Order 88 Series of 2010, which states that a foreign or international school may be established through legislation. This provision also allows them to adopt a foreign country's school calendar and basic education curriculum, subject to limitations or regulations imposed by the department. In fact, these schools are currently existing as DepEd recognized private schools, having met the same terms and conditions for requirements governing the grant of government authority to operate private schools, as expressly allowed under Section 47 of DO 88. DepEd does not, however, confer recognition upon these schools as educational institutions of international character based on available records and public hearings conducted on this bill. DepEd has never conferred such international recognition to any school in the past. Mr. President and esteemed colleagues, each of the 4 Singapore schools meets the constitutional and other legal requirements to operate as international schools. The schools are 100% Filipino-owned, except for Green Campus, which has a foreign incorporator. All directors and school heads are Filipinos who are in full control and administration of these schools. In fact, school year 2024-2025, the schools primarily serve Filipino learners. 65% of the student population in Cebu and Manila campuses are Filipino, 70% in Clark, and 92% in Manila Green Campus. They also employ Filipino teachers and are deeply committed to delivering internationally benchmark education to Filipino and foreign students alike. Ginong Pangulo, ang mga paaralang ito ay naghahatid ng mataas na antas ng edukasyon, handang makipagsabayan sa pagdaigdigan pamantayan. Bagamat ito ay mga international schools, tiyak na makikinabang ang mga Pilipinong mag-aaral na papasok sa Singapore schools. By recognizing them through legislation as educational institutions of international character, we affirm our commitment to offering world-class education within the bounds of our constitutional and legal framework. For these reasons, I respectfully seek the support of this chamber for the immediate passage of this measure. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. President, to allow our colleagues to study further the measure and move these aforementioned bills, I move that we suspend consideration of the aforementioned House bill. So move, Mr. President.
Is there objection? There being none, motion is approved.
Mr. President, at this juncture, I move that we transfer from the calendar for ordinary business to the calendar for special orders House Bill numbers 11038 and 11185. These are bills on the establishment of schools. So move, Mr. President.
Is there objection? There being none, motion is
Mr.
approved.
President, I move that we consider the aforementioned House bills and ask the Secretary General to read the title of the measure. So move.
The objection, there being none, the motion is approved. The secretary is directed to read only the title of the bills without prejudice, inserting into the records the whole text thereof.
House number 11038, Doos del Norte National High School in Hindang, Leyte. House number 11185, Tanay National Science High School in Tanay, Rizal.
Sponsor the measure, Mr. President. I move that we recognize the chairperson of the Senate Committee on Basic Education, Senator Win Gatchalian, to deliver an omnibus sponsorship speech. So move, Mr. President.
The sponsor, Senator Will Gatchalian, is hereby recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Majority Leader. Mr. President, esteemed colleagues, I'm honored today to sponsor two local bills transmitted by our colleagues from the House of Representatives, which aim to establish schools in areas with identified needs. These are House Bill number 11038, taking into consideration House Bill 2891, filed by our esteemed Majority Leader, Senator Francis Tolentino, and House Bill 11185. The schools we propose to establish through these measures are located in municipality of Hindang, Leyte, and the municipality of Tanay, Rizal. Mr. President, learners in these areas have long faced significant hurdles just to pursue their education, from traveling long distances to shouldering additional expenses and even putting their safety at risk. With the establishment of the schools, we are bringing learner closer to home, easing the burden of learners and their families, and ensuring that education remains accessible to all. Once these measures are passed into law, the established schools will be known respectively as Doos del Norte National High School and Tanay National Science High School. The Department of Education has also certified that these proposed measures comply with DepEd Order Number 40, Series of 2014 on the establishment, merging, conversion, and naming or renaming of public schools and separation of public school annexes in basic education. Ginong Pangulo, ang pagsasabatas ng mga panukalang ito na hindi lamang pagtatayo ng mga paaralan, kundi isang konkretong hakbang tungo sa mas maayos at abot-kamay na edukasyon para sa ating mga kababayan. Sa pamamagitan ng mga panukalang ito, tinutugunan natin ang pangangailangan ng ating mga kababayan na makamit ang kanilang mga pangarap nang hindi na kinakailangan maglakbay ng malayo o ilayo ang kanilang sarili sa kanilang mga pamilya. For these reasons, I humbly seek the support of this esteemed body for the immediate passage of the measure. Thank you, Mr. President. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. To allow our colleagues to study further the measures, I move that we suspend consideration of the aforementioned House bill. So move, Mr.
Is
President.
there objection? There being none, consideration of the aforementioned House is hereby suspended.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move that we transfer from the calendar for ordinary business to the calendar for special orders, House Bill numbers 11167 and 11351. These are bills on the conversion of schools. So move, Mr. President.
Is there objection? There being none, motion is approved.
Mr. President, I move that we consider the aforementioned House bills and ask the Secretary General to read the title of the measure. So move, Mr. President.
Is there an objection? There being none, motion is approved. The secretary is directed to read only the title of the bill without prejudice to inserting the records the whole text thereof.
House Bill number 11167, Alegria Integrated School in Barcelona, Sorsogon. House Bill number 11351, Patag Integrated School in Irusin, Sorsogon.
Mr. President, to sponsor the measure, I move that we recognize the distinguished gentleman from Valenzuela, Senator Sherwin Gatchalian. So move, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Our sponsor, Senator Gatchalian, is hereby recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Honorable colleagues in the Senate, a pleasant day to you all. I rise today to sponsor two measures that aim to convert existing elementary schools in Sorsogon into integrated schools. The two elementary schools under these proposed measures are Alegria Elementary School in Municipality of Barcelona under House Bill number 11167 and Patag Elementary School in the Municipality of Irusin under House Bill number 11351. Currently, the nearest secondary school to Alegria School is about 3 kilometers away, while learners from Patag Elementary School must travel roughly 4.1 kilometers to access the closest high school. For many learners and their families, this distance is a significant challenge. It means additional expenses for transportation and longer travel times, critical factors that discourage attendance and at times lead to learners dropping out altogether. Converting these elementary schools into integrated schools will directly address these issues. Alegria Integrated School and Patag Integrated School will provide learners with a nearby option for secondary education within their own communities. This move will ease the burden on families, especially those clustered and remote barangays, while also helping accommodate the growing population in these areas. Mr. President and esteemed colleagues, the Department of Education has certified that these proposed measures comply with Department Order Number 40, Series of 2014 on the establishment, merging, conversion, and naming or renaming public schools and separation of public school annexes in basic education. Ginong Pangulo, ang pagsasabata sa mga panukalang ito, hingit nating ipinalalapit ang edukasyon sa kabataan Sorsoganon. Ito ay karapatan. Ito ay karampatang dapat makamit na bawat mag-aaral, isang dekalidad na edukasyon na malapit sa kanilang tahanan.
Majority Leader.
Mr. President, to allow our colleagues to study further the measure, I move that we suspend consideration of the aforementioned House bills. So move, Mr. President.
Is there objection? There being none, motion is approved.
Mr. President, at this juncture, I move that we transfer in the calendar for ordinary business to the calendar for special orders, House Bill numbers 10757, 10758, and 10882. These are bills on the establishment of school division offices. I so move, Mr. President.
Is there objection? There being none, motion is approved.
President, I move that we consider the aforementioned House bills.
Is there objection? There being none, the motion is approved. The Secretary is directed to read only the title of the bills without prejudice, inserting the records the whole text thereof.
House number 10757, Zamboanga del Sur Schools Division Office 2. House number 10758, Bohol Schools Division Office. House number 10882, South School Division Office in Maramag, Bukidnon.
Mr. President, to sponsor the measure, I move that we recognize the super hardworking chairperson of the Senate Committee on Basic Education, Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, to deliver an omnibus sponsorship speech. So move, Mr. President.
The sponsor, Senator Gatchalian, is hereby recognized.
Last nito, Mr. President, promise. Mr. President, honorable colleagues in the Senate, a pleasant day to you all. I rise today to sponsor 3 measures that seek to establish school division offices. The Zamboanga School Division Offices, the Zamboanga del Sur SDO2 under House Bill number 10757, Bohol SDO2 and Bohol SDO3 under House Bill number 10758, and Bukidnon SDO2 under House Bill number 10882. The establishment of the school division offices seeks to address unique challenges faced by large divisions due to geographical constraints, size, and complexities of overseeing a vast network of schools. The enactment of these bills, however, calls for the legislature to abandon its previous determination under Section 7, Paragraph C of Republic Act number 9155, otherwise known as the Governance of Basic Education Act of 2001, where a division shall consist of a city or province. Shall consist of a province or city. This provision has been operationalized through the years by establishing only one SDO for every province or city. The declaration of policy under Section 2 of the same law, however, states that while governance of basic education shall begin at the national level, it is at the regions, divisions, schools, and learning centers where the policy and principle of the governance of basic education shall be translated into programs, projects, and services developed, adapted, and offered to fit all local needs. Mr. President, the provinces of Zamboanga del Sur, Bohol, and Bukidnon face significant operational challenges due to their wide geographical areas and varying needs of the school communities. Having only one school division limits their capacity to meet these demands effectively, often leaving far-flung schools underserved and isolated. Many schools experience delays in accessing vital resources and services because of the sheer distance from their existing school division offices. Establishing additional divisions will decentralize services, minimize travel and logistical burdens, and bring administrative support much closer to where it is urgently needed. If we, the legislature, decide not to recognize these local initiatives and hide behind the provisions we crafted around 1 generation ago, we missed this opportunity to use our plenary power to legislate as a tool for bottom-up development. Ginoong Pangulo, sa pagsasabata sa mga panukalang ito, ating pinapalakas ang sistema ng edukasyon sa mga lalawigang matagal nang humaharap sa hamon ng distansya at limitadong serbisyo. Ang mga bagong school division offices ay magiging daan upang mas mabilis, mas epektibo at mas direktang maihatid ang mga programa at serbisyo pang edukasyon sa bawat sulok ng lalawigan. Sa ganitong paraan, masisiguro natin walang batang Pilipino ang mapag-iiwanang anuman ang kanilang lokasyon. For these reasons, I respectfully seek the support of this esteemed chamber for the immediate passage of this measure. Thank you, Mr. President. Maraming salamat po.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. To allow our colleagues to study further these aforementioned bills, I move that we suspend consideration of the aforementioned House bill. So move, Mr. President.
Mr. Objection, there being none, consideration of the said aforementioned bills are hereby suspended.
May I also put into the record, Mr. President, the intention of this representation with the permission of the gentleman from Valenzuela to be co-sponsor of the measures that he sponsored today, Mr. President. Thank you.
Yes, so noted.
Tama ta kaibigan. Nag-okay. Hinihintay ka lang. For the record, Mr. President, the gentleman from Valenzuela is nodding his head, Mr. President. Mr. President, at this juncture, I move that we consider and adopt proposed Senate Resolution number 1320. I'm sorry, Mr. President. Hirap talaga ng walang tulog, walang kain. Proposed Senate Resolution number 1320. This is the resolution commending and congratulating multi-awarded Filipina film and television actress Judy Ann Santos Agoncillo for winning the Best Actress trophy from the 45th Fantasporto Film Festival in Porto, Portugal. So move, Mr. President.
Is there an objection? There being none, motions of the resolution is hereby adopted.
Mr. President, at this juncture, I move that we consider and adopt proposed Senate Resolution number 1336, taking into consideration proposed Senate Resolutions numbers 1338 and 1349. This is the resolution expressing profound sympathy and condolences to the family of Polita Corrales and honoring her life achievements as an iconic singer, songwriter, and actress. So move, Mr. President.
Is there objection? There being none, motion is approved. The resolution is hereby adopted.
Mr. President, I move that we consider and adopt proposed Senate Resolution number 1337, taking into consideration proposed Senate Resolutions numbers 1339, 1340, and 1348. This is the resolution honoring the life and achievements of national artists for film and broadcast artist Nora Honor and expressing profound sympathy and sincere condolences to the Senate on the demise of the one and only superstar of Philippine cinema. So move, Mr. President.
Is there objection? There being none, motion is approved. The resolution is hereby adopted.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move that we consider and adopt proposed Senate Resolution number 1351. This is the resolution expressing profound sympathy and condolences of the Senate of the Philippines on the passing of veteran actor and director Ricky Davao and honoring his contribution to Philippine entertainment. So move, Mr. President.
Is there objection? There being none, motion is approved. Resolution is hereby adopted.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, Senator Revilla and this representation would like to insert into the records our co-sponsorship speeches for the adopted resolution. So move, Mr. President.
Duly noted.
Some admin matters, Mr. President. Senator Lauren Ligarda wishes also to insert into the records the explanation of her votes on the following legislative measures. SBN number 890, SBN 2805, SBN 2965, SBN 2960, SBN 2974, and SBN 2975. Also, Mr. President, Senator Pia Cayetano wishes to insert into the records her co-sponsorship speech for Senate Bill number 2999. This is on imminent disaster. She is likewise requesting, Mr. President, that she be made co-author of the said measure. So move, Mr. President.
Motion is approved.
Mr. President, I move that we proceed to the Senate President's designation of Senate conferees to the Conference Committee on the Disagreeing Provisions of Senate Bill number 890, the Bill on Government Optimization Act, and House Bill number 7240 on National Government Right-Sizing Act. So move, Mr. President.
Hearing objection, the following members are hereby designated as Senate conferees to the Bicameral Conference Committee on the Disagreeing Provisions of Senate Bill number 890 and House Bill number 7240. They are Senate President Francis Chis Escudero as chairperson, yours truly, Senator Joseph Victor G. Ejercito, Senator Aquilino Cocopimentel III on the part of the mayor, so designated.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. President, at this juncture, I move that we proceed to the Senate President's designation of Senate conferees to the Conference Committee on the Disagreeing Votes on House Bill number 9489, the bill on the creation of one RTC in the 2nd Judicial Region, Alicia Isabela. And so move, Mr. President.
Is there objection? There being none, motion is approved. Hearing no, the following members are hereby designated as Senate conferees to the Bicameral Conference Committee on the Disagreeing Votes of House Bill number 9489. They are Senate Minority Leader Aquilino Copimentel III as chairperson, Senators Rafi Tulfo, Ronald Bato de la Rosas, Maria Lourdes Nancy Binay, Joseph Victor Ejercito, so designated.
Mr. President, at this juncture and with the permission of the body, I move that we proceed with the Senate President's designation of Senate conferees to the Bicameral Conference Committee on the Disagreeing Provisions of Senate Bill number 2974 and House Bill number 9726. This is the measure expanding the Philippine Science High School system, strengthening governance and management, and appropriating funds therefore. So move, Mr. President.
The following members are hereby designated as Senate conferees to the Bicameral Conference Committee on the Disagreeing Provisions of Senate Bill number 2974 and House Bill number 9726. Senator Juan Miguel Zubiri as chairperson, Senator Joseph Victor Ejercito, Senator Maria Lourdes Nancy Binay, Senator Win Gatchalian, and Senator Aquilino Cocopimentel III for the minority.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, at this juncture, I move that we adjourn the session until 3 o'clock in the afternoon of Tuesday, June 3, 2025. So move, Mr. President.
Is there objection? There being none, the motion of the session is adjourned until 3 o'clock in the afternoon of Tuesday, June 3, 2025.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you to our staff, Senate staff. Thank you.
Apa.